right? Thanks everyone for joining us again. And as I was explaining earlier, this is our first, USA GTM Roadshow event. We're doing a 4-city tour. This is our first time ever. So Bengaluru is top one. So we're excited that we're call it above capacity. We're targeted 15 to 20. I think we're well over that. And then we're moving on to Cochin, on 11th. Chennai is a maybe because of the floods and the weather, but we certainly want to do it again. And then Pune is our final stop on this tour. We're hoping to do this again in April of next year, and there we hope to expand. Get to Delhi, get to Hyderabad, get to some other places. But let me get going with the main content. I appreciate all the introductions and you all telling us who you are and what your focus is, what your interest is. I certainly want to call upon you. I appreciate some of the comments you made where you can hopefully join us, contribute. There's a lot of, I'm sure, deep insight in this group here. So we'll try to get to all of that. I know the time now is 8:15. Tell us if you're droning on too long, because we do want to be able to have you be able to talk to each other, get some drinks, and on and on. Like, so you can even pause along the way. If you think we've done enough talking, you want us to say, hey guys, let's take a 5-minute break, we certainly can, right? But whatever you guys think, at the end of the day, we're here to have you get value. It's a weekday, you're here, you could be doing other things, but here you are. Thank you. I think real quick, where we wanted to start was with this one slide here. There's literally only let me start with this, sponsors. We did get some help to get this put together by Pentathlon Ventures, which is a smaller VC firm. They do B2B SaaS startup, early stage funding. They're in Pune. If any of you are looking for funding early stage company, let me know. Happy to make an introduction. Second is Thai Kerala. They've been very generous, very nice. They actually are bringing together all the Thai Kerala SaaS community in Cochin to have a discussion and a session with us. And then there's a very nice guy called Joseph, who's going to be with me on the moderated discussion. B2Brain, of course, our dear friend, the leader. I just pinged him. I said, hey, dude, do you want to do this? He quickly said yes, thank you, and he's given amazing help. So I think where we wanted to kick it off was really this slide here, because everybody's wondering, okay, what is going on in terms of trends? So I wanted to start at a broad industry trend level. If you think about innovations or kind of the big milestones in B2B marketing, right? The first thing was marketing automation. I mean, you have the Eloquas and the Marketos and the HubSpots came along. You guys probably, many of you have heard of John Miller, who was, he really, I think, innovated around using content as a vehicle for building brand, building awareness, and then they had a good product too. So I think the whole marketing automation trend started there. And then of course, at the core of it, marketing automation is about getting marketing emails out, having sequences, having cadences, and be able to have structured emails that go out. But marketing automation never got around to thinking the way salespeople think, right? So here you have marketing as one bunch of people. Here you have sales, another bunch of people. Sales guys are thinking accounts. Sales guys are thinking opportunities at specific accounts. They have a whole account-centric view over there. Here, no such thing. It's a bunch of records, bunch of contacts, effectively leads, and forms getting filled and disconnect, right? And then, of course, that's when 2015 happens. That's around when we got started. Similar to all these guys on the ABM journey, account-based marketing literally came together as a category. Demand-based was probably one of the first. Their core technology at that time was IP. They had a huge IP database. They had a way to map from IP databases to companies, so that you could literally put a tag on your website, and demand-based would tell you, this is HP that came in, this is IBM, this is Cisco that came in. And of course, that's now table stakes, right? Everybody knows anybody can do it, right? Lots of companies do that. So then what happened, of course, was you had Engagio and you had Terminus, and they made a lot of noise, and the whole category got defined. But the question, I guess, is even today, many people ask is ABM really doing, delivering value? Right? There's still a lot of question around it. If you look at salespeople, sales guys are still saying, hey, it's still needed in the haystack. I heard somebody earlier today, say, how does it help you to say Verizon? I don't know who Verizon is, who's in Cisco. So anyway, there you go, right? So then, how do you get down to the individual level, right? And that, to us at least, that is the next phase, and certainly something we've been innovating around. And so we call it buyer level identity resolution. So account level, not interesting enough, not good enough. You got to get down to the buyer level. You got to be able to report at the buyer level, and then of course you'll hear a lot about data regulations, data privacy rules, GDPR, CCPA, and so for a variety of reasons, a lot of the buyer identity resolution technologies available today are for the US market. Because the US market, better or worse, they tend to be the most, call it business friendly. I know the nice way of putting it, which is they let you do it. And so we actually, what happened for us at Quanzu was that in June of last year, 2022, we signed up with what's called a data co-op. It's basically about several hundred companies that have come together. They have a shared pool of what's called a person-level audience with online cookies connecting to those people. The online, we call it an audience database, has about 101 million B2B profiles, about 159 million consumer profiles. So we're able to basically tell you down to the individual who landed on your site. We're able to resolve anywhere from 10 to 30% of the US traffic. And I'm talking the full traffic, meaning some of them may be B2B profiles, some are B2C, some are plain emails with buyer journeys, who went to what pages, who went to the demo page, who went to the pricing page, who went to the contact us page. That's literally what Prashant, somebody like you, would say, hey, I can do something with this. Right? Somebody in inside sales will say, my team can do something with this. Right? And then of course there's a lot of the data tricks we can talk about how you turn B2C emails into LinkedIn URLs and generate more, convert it more in the form or format that sales can get actions. That's whole dialogue we can have. But just keeping it at a higher level, what I wanted to call out is ABM has been what it is. And actually, we can get into that, right? We get people to tell us what they think ABM is. I'd be interested to hear before we give you our views, because that's the next slide. But I don't want to go to the next slide until you tell us what's ABM to you, right? Because we believe the market is now ready to take the next step from ABM to account-based GTM, account-based go-to-market. So I'd love to hear what you think it is, and then we kind of go from there. Sound good? Okay, it's been a little
I actually was thinking when we started off making these slides, I think it was like 8, 9 slides.
Yeah, we kept cutting it down.
We just kept like meeting the Steve Jobs thing, right? Keep removing what not necessary until it gets to the. So I have a specific question to ask, and I'm going to pick people. Okay, so be ready. You can't say that I'm leading. Okay, you've had enough time. Okay, I'm going to ask Samir and Gopal, okay, on the funniest marketing stuff that you have experienced. You can even come here. Yeah. We all have
funniest meaning, something unexpected.
Yeah, something unexpected, something stupid, something foolish. We all have done all that. I'll tell you one time, I sent a cold email to somebody somewhere in the heartland of the US, and that person responded to me saying, look, I'm going to, roll your eyes out. He literally wrote back to me. And, like I looked at that person's LinkedIn and I felt like, okay, maybe there was some issues going on in their life. So, we all have had our moments, right?
So, so this is, I think, 2021, Shasta 2021, which was, US had just opened up after COVID. Conferences were happening once again. Before that, everything was virtual. And we were still kind of figuring out that, okay, we have a booth there, but we can't go there. So what do we really do? How do we kind of even get things going, which money we have paid and we can't really take benefit of that? So what we did was we actually hired a couple of people in the US to man the booth for us. And we set up a Zoom call, which was a continuous Zoom call through the night. So they used to get people into the booth, and we used to actually talk to them over Zoom. So in India, the whole team was kind of putting a night out, and we had 4 or 5 terminals, and anybody who used to come to the booth, we used to actually talk to them, and they found that very innovative and very funny, because you are talking to somebody 10,000 miles away, and it turned out well. We had great kind of footfalls, and one thing with conferences always is that have a way in some way or the other to attract audiences. So we had a pong game, a water pong game. So there was one guy who was going out and pulling people that, okay, you have to come play the pong game for us, and we'll give you, at the end of the day, we'll choose a winner and give you a AirPod Pro. And he said it's a lottery, but we knew who we will give it to. So all of those things we have done. So it's just about kind of, I am reminded by a quote from Michael Caine. He said, use your difficulty. So the difficulty for us was that we couldn't travel. So how do we use that difficulty to actually still get the people to the booth and kind of make things work for us? So not really a funny, but something interesting to kind of
Absolutely. And while we're here, would you mind talking about what does ABM mean to you?
So
It's not airport-based marketing.
no. So ABM is not for everyone, is the way I look. If you are targeting enterprise customers, of course ABM is the way to go. But that's not the only kind of customer that is there in the US. Maybe going after the SMB market, some level of mid-market as well. There ABM may not be the most suitable vehicle. ABM is definitely suitable when you are kind of going for the enterprise, and there you know that it is going to be a group sale. You will have to kind of talk to 10 people to get the deal in one way or the other. But if you're going after, say, an SMB market, or if you're going after prosumers, or individuals, or influencers and things like that, then the marketing or the GTM switches significantly. Then ABM. So ABM is great, but ABM is not for everyone. It depends on your business, your target audience, whether ABM will be the right people you are. Perfect. That's my.
Over to our friend Ellen.
Thanks. So I cannot recall a lot of funny instances. I don't know if it will sound funny to all of you, but when we started looking at it for the first time, I think we made a lot of mistakes. First, in buying ABM software itself. I think first time buying of ABM software is not that easy. There is a lot of noise out there in the market. And we got demand base. End of the day, we had a chat with demand base, both of them. We got demand base. And we pushed them hard on the prices. And they gave us a software which was completely stripped of anything. I mean, it didn't have like all the features. We thought we got a good deal, but we did not. And when we started using, we felt as if we were fools by buying it in the way, by really pushing demand base and all. So I think that was the first mistake that we kind of made. So while buying ABM software, really understanding what. The second mistake that we did was use ABM for demand gen, or think of it that way. And that I think a lot of people, it took us at least a year and a half to really figure out that ABM is not really for demand gen. Also going from a demand gen, so our marketing approach was historically that we will demand gen, we will see what's good in that demand gen, and then we will go after the accounts that are good. We never went with a TAL approach, or a target account list approach, and then it took us a while to really understand that ABM is not for demand gen, it's for a lot of other things. We can talk, and that's a long conversation, but that was the second big mistake that we made. We did not really understand what is ABS, or what's account-based experience, how the sales team should really use SIC data, or sales intelligence data. We put our keyword sets in a very long way. We were very transactional. We did not use value prop messaging in the display ads that we were using. So not having the understanding of ABM, and then and one thing I felt across reps that sell ABM software, and no offense meant to any company, but is that actually they also do not have a very good understanding of ABM. And the people who I think there is a lot of knowledge transfer is that specific. For example, when I talk to Sridhar, I get a lot of information about why you should use B2B to B2 brain, why that actually will influence your pipeline knowledge. That knowledge I get from Sridhar, maybe that when that team goes, I don't know how that will happen.
And I don't charge for it.
He doesn't charge, yeah. So I have that privilege. But that type of maturity is not there in, for example, 6 Sense and these type of companies will give you they will say this is how much you will be able to save or make extra because you buy 6 Sense or whatever. But that sheet that they show is also not kind of, that doesn't make sense from a business context if you look at it incrementally. So I think not just knowing what exactly ABM software can do, ABM is not just marketing, it's ABX actually where marketing and sales have to work together. It's using the intelligence data and then being able to not just use it from demand gen and go out of the demand gen. For me, I have been historically a demand gen marketer before that point. And to go out of that demand gen mindset into an ABX mindset has been a transition that I'm still doing. I mean, it's not easy. And on the way, because of that mindset, I think we did a lot of funny things. Our display ads creatives were shitty, they were demand gen based. They're still shitty. We can improve it. But yeah, I think those are the key messages.
Sounds good. And again, just for the record, your again company is Zenwork and Gopal. Thanks, Gopal. So
Yeah, I'll just wrap up this part.
Yeah.
So one of the things whenever I meet people, one of the things that I know is that even collectively we know very little. Okay? So it's like 25 blind people trying to describe an ant kind of a situation, right? It's not 5 blind men trying to describe an elephant. So the thing that I took away is that, the more openly we talk about the challenges we go through and all the funny situations, on the airport-based marketing stuff that we do, it's generally a lot more learning for all of us.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely. I think that posing the question the way you did, I think that's great. So, anybody have any thoughts on when we say account-based go-to-market? What are we talking about, and how that's different from ABM? Whatever you think ABM is. Have an opinion, thoughts, anything?
If nobody volunteers, I'll pick a person.
I'm guessing when you say go to market, you're talking about accounts where you don't have any presence at all whatsoever. Versus accounts where you already have a presence. That's a different kind of marketing approach you take versus where you don't have any presence at all.
It's a little bit different than that. I think it's a good time to go to the next slide, because when we say here's how we try to sum it up. Essentially, ABM, at least the way we look at it, traditionally has been what the marketing team does. The marketing team does ABM. Right? ABM for us is where earlier you had marketing emails getting pushed out and turned into marketing qualified leads that was pushed into the CRM. Suddenly Engagio came along, other guys came along, they started defining lots of buyers from the same organization, starting to track and score them somehow, and then call that account as a marketing qualifier account. To say 3 buyers from this company have engaged in the last 30 days. 5 buyers have engaged. So that was a new notion that was introduced, and that became another characteristic, key part of ABM. The third thing is, we used to track all leads, and this person actually has clicked, or this person has done something. But then from there we went to account level engagement. HP came to our site, Cisco came to the site, whatever, right? So that is an ABM notion. Then if you look at the channels that traditional ABM has been about, it's been primarily around emails and account-based advertising and display. It wasn't very mature. I mean, it's maturing more and it's going more omni-channel, which is something you'll see going from the left to the right. And then analytics again has been pretty much at an aggregate company level, account level. HP, we have seen so much activity. They'll give you some activity metrics, but that's not necessarily actionable for inside sales, SDRs and BDRs. Now let's go to the right. So account-based go-to-market, to answer your question, we think of as GTM, and GTM teams means you go beyond marketing to all the organizations that are customer facing. all the organizations that have a role, departments, functions that have a role in driving revenue, right? So now you have marketing, you have sales, you have customer success, you have biz ops team, business operations team supporting them. You know, you may have, as you can see, revenue operations, sales ops, rev ops, they're also supporting them. Several organizations are essentially supposed to walk lockstep, supposed to essentially operationalize the strategy coming from the C-level and the leadership to say, our goal for next quarter is driving this amount of revenue, this amount of pipeline in these kinds of market segments, these kinds of audiences. You know, they represent these type of companies, they are for selling this type of product, etc., etc. I hope that makes sense, right? So all revenue teams, and then now it's more of a thinking around sales motions. Am I selling direct? What kind of actions and activities and programs and sales on the marketing side, sales side, CSI team do I need to do to drive revenue? That is on the direct side, that's through partners, that is through, of course, the new thing is PLG, product-led growth. And then you also are seeing some companies that are taking their big, massive platforms, they're sizing it down, and then they're introducing a one piece of it to land more logos, so that you can have a PLG motion that becomes the engine to then go have this, you know, customer success team go try to upsell, cross-sell, what have you, right? So account-based go-to-market, again, I said it's a broader footprint, broader focus, larger, you know, teams all involved and engaged. On down to, if you look at the engagement that's being tracked, you go way beyond accounts now. If you guys have been watching what's happening in LinkedIn and Laura Ramos, of course, and all these guys, right? And Demanded is making a big pitch about this. This is buying group engagement. They're trying to track at the buying group level. Across 10 people, who's engaged, who's not engaged, who knows about us, who doesn't know about us. All that's being tracked, all that's being operational, all that's being, played back for marketing to be able to understand. Played back for the SDR or BDR or account executive people to see, account manager people to see. So it's gone beyond accounts to buyers, buying group engagement. Activation has gone beyond just thinking email and display to now thinking omni-channel, right? Omni-channel meetings, LinkedIn, social, and then of course LinkedIn we believe is becoming increasingly much more important. If anything, the importance of LinkedIn is going up. Why? You guys all heard about Google, right? And Google trying to now institute these new rules where they're going to literally hit hard on spam. And they're going to hit hard at outreach, sales, email sequences that inside sales teams are blasting off out to lots and lots of prospects. They're able to track it because they know there's an outreach tag. They know that there's a sales loft tag, right? So it's going to get harder. Companies will have to get smarter about having burner domains, secondary domains, tertiary domains. Don't use your primary domain because you're going to shut down email for your whole company. Right? Imagine a few sales people doing that. Not fun. Right? And then looking down, the other thing is with analytics now, the other big thing, and some of this, by the way, might be more applicable in the mid-market type of company, 50 million, 100 million, 12 million. Younger companies, of course, you're earlier in your maturity, so some of these you may not care about, not yet. But certainly the mid-market companies care about things like single pane of glass. What does that mean? It means you can essentially have one set of accounts, and then sales leaders can come in and they can see where the hell are we in terms of being able to engage across these 100 top accounts, 200 top accounts. Marketing guys can come in and say, what programs are we running against these accounts? What channels are we operating against on, right? So that's really, I just want to sum it up. So this is where we think the market has been going. This is where the innovation is happening. This is where all the players, we certainly try to think of ourselves. We're a small shop, full disclosure, right? We're based more than demand is 6 cents. But from a product or platform standpoint, we've built out a lot. All in the account-based go-to-market influence. And so with that, I think I'll stop and we'll open up the question.
So I know that was probably a good segue into looking at how the world might go, right? I mean, there are all of these three-letter acronyms that keep happening. Okay, and one of the things that I noticed I was in SaaStr and I was in Dreamforce and I also had a chance to go to another conference. One of the things I noticed is the number of people who introduce themselves as I am in GTM team, etc., is slowly increasing. Okay, they're not saying I'm in sales or I'm in marketing or I'm in customer service. They're saying I'm in GTM. Okay, so that is I guess, the mantra for the most recent period. Because if you think about it, if you remove all the noise and fluff and everything that's going on, okay, think about the core job of people in your team, in your company. Okay, the core job of people in your team, in your company is to serve your customer. Okay, whoever they might be. And if you actually want to build an effective team, an effective execution culture, the work of every person in your team has to impact some customer or the other. If it doesn't impact them, at least, almost directly, then what they are doing is probably not of enough value to you. Okay, so in a way, the most painful and unknown and difficult beast to crack is your market. It's not your product. It's not your technology. Okay, so when Gopal says, look, I want to understand how this could be useful to me, there's a lot of merit in it, because you're always swimming in a world of uncertainty. Right? Google will throw this new, gauntlet, and somebody else will do something else, and all of a sudden your world is shifted under your feet. Right? Then your CEO is sitting on top of your head saying, bring me revenue, bring me pipeline, whatever stuff. Right? So, in a way, the way Money framed it, it's actually very apt. It's like you're selling to a company, maybe in your current company you're selling to consumers, but I guess most of you are selling to businesses. A business is a company. It's not a person. A person is writing the check, but it's a company. It means you're selling to an account. Right? So everything you want to do and execute has to be aligned to that account. Right? Which is why I thought this whole framing of account-based GTM is very relevant.
So why don't we, again, at this point, I do want to take a couple of minutes to see if anybody has any specific areas you want to drill down into, dive into.
Yeah, Mani, I have a question about it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Cost part, all revenue teams, the marketing, sales, customer service, business operation revenues.
Right.
Now, in our learning, like what I can relate now, our teams across all of those verticals, like all those divisions, they are connected with clients, simple, like our marketing guys, they're coming up with a lot of campaigns for the particular account. Sales are connected to the respective senior management of the team. Results are directly connected to the guys who are actually working on that, like for an operation kind of. But they don't talk to each other. It's all isolation.
Right.
So what are your thoughts around that? Like, I have an account where we're doing a lot of great things on the floor, but it's not going to transpire with the senior management is not happening.
Got it.
So how can we felicitate that part of it?
Got it. Very good question, and I'm going to touch upon that next, and you all may have some input on this, ideas on this. But I think fundamentally there are some limitations and challenges with call it the current wave of ABM platforms and tools in terms of how they are built, what systems they finally connect into. So they end up not being able to access and touch and synthesize and harmonize and organize data from many different sources. And you end up with these islands that you're talking about. Right? So there's a whole different way to build these, let's call account-based GTM platforms. I'm not trying to suggest we're the only guys doing this. I'm sure others will be doing it in different ways, or companies will be solving these problems in different ways within their own tech stack. So why don't we go to that next? I think it's a perfect segue to that. Unless people have any other things you want to bring up, any other questions? Yeah.
Understand this part, GTM thing, because knowingly or unknowingly people will be doing all of these things, right?
Yeah.
And it's not only going to be marketing, you have a salesperson reach out or all those activities are. I think my thing is specifically like, we talked about end-to-end training promises and stuff. So what tools are from the information you have or talking to people, what tools have succeeded in reaching out to the customer you want to go?
Okay, so his question is around tools from an outreach perspective. What are the kinds of tools you want to have in your stack? Okay, so that's a very good question. So I want to touch upon that, touch upon this. Anybody have any other key questions? Yes.
Basically, I want to kind of confirm my understanding here. So usually ABM is used, with marketing and sales as an acquisition and an upsell channel. Like that's traditionally where ABM stops. So is it alright to gather that here we're looking at the whole customer life cycle right from, so that you're mapping the whole organization?
Correct,
right
across different sales motions.
Right, yeah.
It's not about new logo acquisition,
Right.
just customer expansion, but it's partner-led partner-led growth, it could be product-led growth. How do you get all the data put together? How do you collect all the data from it? How do you make sense of it? How do you get insights out of it? So I think that's going to lead in then into the next slide. So this is something I wanted to put up. More of a conceptual visual, but it's for something to help you frame your mind, how to think about this, right? So the way to think about it is, we just put like blocks, if you will, saying on the left, you got marketing, some of the key marketing folks, your growth team, your demand team, your ABM team, media teams who run your advertising, on to, the revenue operation, which is the guys in charge of your tech stack and your infrastructure, marketing ops, sales ops. And then on the right, you've got, of course, your sales organization. So back to inside sales, SDRs, BDRs, account execs, account managers, customer success managers. And so you look at some of the components at a high level they need to have access to, right? On the left, you've got the marketing insights dashboards. Let's not worry about where it's being realized. It could be an ABM tool, it could be, Tableau, it could be whatever. So you have marketing dashboards. You have the so-called sales assistants or AI co-pilots that are coming together for sales guys to do their jobs better, faster. And then right above them, I've got the C-level and executive level. They struggle with having data and insight. They send a lot of requests down. They don't get the insight they want back, so they can be running the business day to day. Always a challenge. And then if you look at the underlying tools, we've just called out the basic ones that are probably there. Everybody has a website, so you need a CMS, content management system. Everybody has some kind of marketing automation to do email nurture stuff. A CRM system. Sales execution is your sales drafts and outreaches, and there's some discussion going on these days about what Google's new stuff is going to do to them. Are they going to see growth? Are they going to see challenges? Something is going to change, on and on, right? And then of course, sales execution, you've got your LinkedIn, and LinkedIn, since you brought that up, LinkedIn, as I certainly believe, their market power is continuing to build, continue to grow. They kind of look the other way on some of these tools. You guys might have heard about the LinkedIn nurture sequence tools that automate some of that with some messaging, so you can get more connections every day, every week, every month. You guys might have heard of like Triplefy, and there's several others, all in that category, right? So there's an opportunity there, I think, to tie in LinkedIn-based outreach better into this kind of infrastructure. That's been a weak area, we think, in general in the industry, right? Connecting LinkedIn into the whole RevOps infrastructure in the back. Now, if you look further out, you have revenue intelligence, right, which is forecasting and some of these other tools like Aviso and Clary and others. But to answer your question, the reason you have a lot of these islands is because many of the traditional ABM players basically only look at data sitting in Salesforce here. That's pretty much it. So we, not to suggest we are the only guys doing this, but we think a better way to do it is to have an external data warehouse. So we've got a built-in data warehouse. We're able to pull data from all these different systems, and that is what we call our backbone platform that we built. So that's why we have this B2B pipeline development process that spans all these different systems and tools. Then it's a question of reading activity from certain systems, writing data back to certain systems, like writing your marketing automation, writing data into your CRM. So as you can see, there are different kinds of data that gets written. So this actually leads me to the innovation I was talking about that's available today that wasn't there a year ago, which is all around buyer level identity, right? So if we look at what we sketched out here, from the website, we're able to track all the website activity. This is possible today, by the way. And it's not going to be just us. We're going to have some other vendors come along that will be able to do this too, which is being able to ID at the individual buyer level. That's John Doe from GE came to your website, and he or she, John is he's the VP of IT, right? Or so Susan Smith came and she's whatever, director of marketing. So that kind of information is very valuable information now possible. Wasn't available a year ago because of these new things called data co-op that come along. So just keep that in mind. It is viable if your website has at least 3,000 monthly uniques, then you'll get a decent lead volume, because then anywhere from 10 to 30% of the audience can be resolved, and then you can basically have a pipeline that gets built and it gets funneled into market automation. You can get simple CSV files. Go ahead.
Actually tracks the name of the person.
First name, last name, company, work email, many of them with LinkedIn URLs, many of them with mobile phone numbers, or you'll get first name, last name, personal email. All of them you'll get what are called pages visited, who went to the pricing page, demo page, contact us page, when was the last visit, and then you also have the even simple plain emails. But basically 3 flavors are pretty typical. And so that's at the person level. At the company level, there are 2 key things you want to work off of. One is still MQAs, marketing qualified accounts, still a concept. So think of it as an SDR, BDR, inside sales. You would want to work the leads first. Work on your tier 1 leads who filled out a request to demo. Work on your tier 2, which is who filled out a content download form on your website. Then work on your tier 3. We call these tier 3s. Tier 3 meaning buyer resolution leads, meaning who showed up on your site and did what actions. Work on those 3 and then go off and work on lots of people engaging from a particular company. Now you go and start digging relevant personas, relevant buyers at that company. You might do some cold outreach, but as I said, don't shut your email servers down. Try LinkedIn first, right? So try to reach those people through LinkedIn. See if they will get a conversation going. At least connect with them. What have you? Take it up or strategies there. But I think beyond that, it's another thing we haven't talked about is intent, which is using intent data, intent signals, third-party signals from different all across the web. Now help your sales team decide, okay, now let me decide to promote on this account and not on this account. I had all kinds of interesting questions on intent, but that's something we can chat about, which is what are all the different kinds of intent vendors, why are these guys not working out at all, why is it such a waste of time, what else can I do? But with that, let me pause, but I hope it gives you a sense of the kind of tech you all as marketers are dealing with. A lot of this needs to be brought together. But down here you have other sources like paid media, publishers. You need to have your master database of accounts and contacts. You need to know your ICP. We recommend that you have your full data set loaded so that your individual SDRs are not hunting and pecking and trying to find contacts. That just doesn't make sense. Okay? Same with the audience database, being able to have a full-blown audience database where you can actually build a proper segment of an audience that you can go target, very targeted advertising. But with that, I think you had a question. Yes.
Yeah, we touched 2 topics. The one was BII and then the second one is third-party data.
Right.
So are you also doing BII on third-party data? Like, let's say I have a segment to go after, and I do have a website, but I know it probably covers 1% of market who's looking at it. But there is again a huge, there's a portion of data of right market and right buyers who are sitting there.
Right.
So like, let's say if I could have an army of this outbound SDRs who look at it, so and would that help? Like, okay, will I also get the third party data and their identifiable data to go and chase it?
Okay, so let me answer that in this way, which is, let's say you want to go after 1,000 accounts. Let's say you have a buying team of say 10 people in that account. Then you can create like a very targeted first party cookie audience. When I say first party, it would be an audience database. For example, like the co-op that I mentioned, the data co-op. That data co-op can give you an audience because you license it. And then you can target those 10,000, right? 10 times 1,000, 10,000 people with one-to-one targeted advertising. That's considered first party because it is their data. Now, when we say third-party advertising, here's what happens. You would need to give them a bunch of emails, say 10,000 emails. They would match those emails using things like LiveRamp cookies, and then they would serve ads. But LiveRamp hashes the email, it doesn't really tell you who it is. They do some lookalike stuff. They may end up serving an ad to 5 devices or 3 devices that this particular person is using. Bottom line is, it's a little less efficient, it's not as targeted. So first party is always, from our experience, more targeted than third-party advertising. Still viable, you can still engage them, you can still come to your website, but in general, what rather than try to wait for that form fill, combine those clicks that you bring into your site with this kind of resolution technology on your site, because you'll dramatically drop your cost per lead. Because every 10 or 15 clicks, if you can turn them into an actual lead, because they identify the person, that's going to be super easy. That's not good. Any questions on that?
Mani, I had a question.
Yeah.
One thing, we sell B2B, right? We target large organizations.
Yeah.
And one thing which we have seen is even after sale is made, there is a lot of expansion which is possible within that particular org.
Right.
That's why it's like GTM said all revenue was from sales, it does resonate, right? So what is your thing that you already signed up an organization,
Right.
right? And you are looking to expand that organization. So how does that differ from signing up an organization, trying to sign up an organization?
Right.
So what kind of differences you are seeing and what tools or methods work with?
I would say, sorry, were we trying to say that?
I just want to increase the mind over it.
Okay. His question was, how do things change when you're trying to grow into an existing client or existing organization? How does that differ from trying to do new logo capture? Right. So to me, it's really about other things come into play. Obviously, it's a lot more deeper account intelligence, knowing the organization, all the parts of the organization. There's probably something that you can speak to a lot more than I can. This stuff comes into play there, because it's really account executives, account managers, and they'll end up using,
Because Mani told me, do you want to put some slides? I was like, man, I've been doing so many slides, I don't want to do anymore. So, okay, so I'll share a little bit about account growth. And this is both what we are learning from customers and some of what we are doing. Okay, so as a founder, early stage company, we are in the trenches. We are also trying to do account GTM and all that stuff, right? Until he gave the label, I didn't know that's what we were doing. So here's what we are learning from customers, specifically account executives who have a growth goal, not new logo acquisition, but saying, look, 40% of my quota is going to come, our commission is going to come from increasing the value of certain customers, okay, by upselling whatever, right? So what they seem to be doing is look out for things changing in the company. Okay, they look out for, does this company have a new CXO? Are they revamping or, moving focus from one market to another? Are they announcing any strategic initiatives on, say, digital transformation? Okay, or are they saying, look, we are going to move from 100% cloud to 40% on-prem? The moment somebody says, I'm going to move from 100% cloud to 40% on-prem, you should assume a lot of their business characteristics will start changing. Because at scale, on-prem is more cost effective than cloud. Because otherwise you will pay the Google, Microsoft, Amazon tax. Right? You don't have to pay them. So that needs some changes to happen. Okay? So they look carefully for changes in people, especially at senior decision-making levels. I'm not saying only CXOs. Oftentimes it's the VPs and senior directors who hold budgets. Right? The CXO is just approve. Okay, so CXO doesn't control as much. And then they look at broad, big strategic things that change in the company. Because if nothing significant is changing in the company, why will they use more of your product? Okay, there has to be some reason, right? That's, like for example, unless they increase the volume here, why will we order more beer? Right? We shout louder and the crowd goes right, we want to quench it beer. Something is changing. They look for those signals and triggers and stuff. Okay? And that is it's an activity and a focus that's almost equivalent of the level of intelligence they want for building new logos. Okay? Because the reality is that a major portion of most technology companies' revenues, particularly SaaS companies, of the current year is from last year customers. current year's logos will predominantly contribute to next year's large revenue. That's something that tends to be happening in SaaS companies. Jason Lemkin recently mentioned that if you can get 50% new logo revenue and 50% existing, it's fantastic. It's more like 30% new logo and 70% existing logo. Okay?
So, Peter, given the background noise, do you guys want to just wrap this up and maybe have more informal, smaller group discussions? That'd be better. Yeah. Anybody have any final thoughts? Closing?
I want to get a thought that master database and audience database. Just can you double click on that? What is that?
Yeah, so essentially what we're saying is every B2B company should have their own ICP database defined. Here's the universe of accounts and universe of contacts that my salespeople will go after in the next 12 months. Have that keyed up, have that set up, have that loaded in your marketing automation, in your CRM, because that makes the process of GTM access execution a lot more efficient than having individual salespeople hunt and peck. Because we went into a mid-market company, believe it or not, they had 45 salespeople, each with their own Zoom credits, hardly used, right? Salespeople are not spending time downloading those credits. They go out and do some stuff on LinkedIn. So it's complete waste. So then we went and told them, consolidate your LinkedIn Zoom budget, get all your data into one license, unified license. In fact, we also provide our own data too. So now they're actually using our data, cutting down their Zoom cost. So we brought down their data cost literally by 70%. So that's what that is. Then you can have a master database of accounts and contacts. You can have a separate master database of all the online cookies you need to reach your targets. You have an ICP, you have a set up of personas, have all the online cookie data you need, because guess what? Your cost to reach that particular prospect is going to be like $15 CPM. CPM cost 1,000 ads. Compare that to LinkedIn, it will cost you $55 to $70 CPM. You can bring down. So I'm not saying don't use LinkedIn. Use it more strategically. Use it for the right persona that you're not able to get to through lower cost programmatic display advertising and other tactics. There's a lot of cost optimization you can do like that. So if you combine that and then combine that with the buyer resolution technology we just talked about, you'll begin to optimize your whole customer acquisition funnel. Talk about it, right? And then you'll have these intelligent insights which is also going to help on upsell, cross-sell, knowing about your existing customers, knowing about other people from those companies that are coming in that you didn't even know about. It can have actually all the different dimensions of value. With that, let me take a pause. And any other questions? Yeah, go ahead.
Something very called intent-based lead.
Oh, intent-based. Okay, you guys want to learn about intent?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Got it. Okay.
How is it really different from the normal lead that is getting generated?
Yeah. So there's a lot of buzzwords in the industry around intent. So let me touch upon that because I have some questions on intent. So first of all, intent means a prospect giving some buying signal. Intent, there is what's called first party intent. First party intent means happening on your website. So prospect came, hit your website, went to 3, 4, 5 different pages. They are already expressing intent that they are more interested in your product than the next person. Okay? Then there is the notion of third party intent. Third party means it's happening not on your website but on other websites. Okay? So third party intent it works like this. So let's say you are Infosys and you want to understand which companies out there might be interested in business process management. So there are many ways you can try to find that. One is you can go to like a Bombora. Bombora will basically track certain companies that went to certain websites and downloaded content on VPN. They will give you that list of companies and they'll say go after these things. That is called content consumption intent. Content being consumed on certain websites. You go to 6Edge. They do something where they will see who's bidding on what keywords and serving up display ads. That's called bid stream intent. So in the ESP bidders, they have a way to do what's called bid stream intent to see which companies guys are bidding on what keywords, based on that they'll give you the bid stream data and then give you some intelligence. So they hear the companies that are probably interested in something related to what you offer. Okay? Then you have something else which we do, by the way, self-declared intent. That is different people who are writing information on their own resumes about projects that are going on in their company. We're working on this new initiative on digital transformation. We're working on cloud migration. So then, there are certain intent providers, and we actually work with a small intent vendor which is actually private labeling them, white labeling them, and not. But effectively, what he's built is self-declared intent. So the way this works is we first work with the customer, organize 80 to 100 keywords. So, for example, Kishore, what you guys do, right? We would understand a bunch of keywords. First, understand, work with your team and get a bunch of keywords. Then another category of keywords will be, those are category keywords, something specific to your category, ABM, cloud migration, digital transformation, BPM. Second set of keywords is comparative vendor keywords. Who are the competitors? If I see their word on somebody writing about them, I want to give you that signal. They're looking at your competitor. You should be in there, talking to them. A third is what I call project keyword. Project meaning, as I said, there are simple 2-3 keywords that describe a project, kind of project happening in that company around your product or solution. So then we grab all that, it's natural language processing, going crawling tens of thousands of sites, organize that into a set of companies to go after. We also go beyond that. We give you the site location. So in Verizon, go to Indianapolis, right? And Kaiser, go to Oakland. And then departments or divisions. Within Kaiser, talk to this department, talk to this group. Now we still are not giving the first search because we don't have that. It's third party intent, it's not the rest. But we can go company, site location, division or group, project. That's how far you can go. Unfortunately, there's way too much intent data that's high level, fluffy, company stuff. Not as useful. But the stuff that is useful is second party intent. Anybody know what second party intent is? They're directory providers. G2, Trust Radius. They're not as removed from reality as third party. They're closer to reality that somebody actually is browsing, trying to find information on a particular competitor product. You want to be there. So I hope that makes sense. A little bit of a primer on intent.
Next question regarding third party intent. Regarding third party intent data, what are the concerns regarding data privacy out here?
Sorry, concerns on data privacy but on third party intent.
Yeah, so this is like first party data, right? I mean the individual party data.
No. So the third party by definition means you're going and crawling the public web and gathering some information. Third party intent by definition is never has to be it's never going to go down to individual. So there isn't really a data privacy concern on third party intent data. Yeah, there isn't. Companies do have concerns about first party, first party intent collected on their own website. For example, the technology I talked about with buyer identity resolution. The hurdles as we go into the mid-market, certain companies, the hurdles are higher. Their InfoSec gets involved, their IT people get involved, they scrutinize the hell out of it. They want to make sure you're collecting the data the right way in the data co-op. They want to know about their opt-in policies, opt-out policies. Is everything being managed properly? They want to know how to relate to their cookies that they have on their website. So there's a bunch of questions we find here at the website. I hope that helps. Yeah. Right?
So, we're just thinking about, I know there is a lot of background noise. It sounds like the intent data.
So, we should wrap it up, break it up, and please stick around, enjoy, you know, and yeah, let's get done. Thank you guys.
That is dinner. Mix up.
Yeah.